Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital spoilers, after Giovanni Gio Palmieri revealed his true parentage on the May 22nd GH episode, Sonny Corinthos might be the only person who supports Lois Cerullo. Could this, then, lead to a romantic relationship between the two? Over the years, Sonny and Lois have maintained an intriguing relationship. They are highly protective and loyal to each other. Indeed, a romance might have occurred some time ago, but given Lois's strong relationship with Brenda Barrett, it's possible that girl code overshadowed any romantic feelings between the two. Nevertheless, a lot of time has gone by since the mob boss and Brenda were together. Is it possible that Lois and Sonny will become closer as a result of the criticism she is going to encounter? Ned and Olivia Quartermaine will be furious with Lois after all. For a considerable amount of time, she took matters into her own hands and concealed the truth about Gio from them. Furthermore, Lois paired Gio with a member of the Cerullo family. Although Olivia and the young guy have a deep relationship, it is nothing compared to the attachment that Gio has with Lois. Ned will be upset with Lois for keeping him in on the secret as the father of Brooke Lynn Quartermaine Chase, and Olivia may be upset that she was never informed or even given the chance to raise Gio in her house. At first, Sonny could be a little offended, but he might come around if Lois explains that protecting Gio and Brooke Lynn was one of the reasons she did what she did. Additionally, Lois kept Gio in the family so she could watch over him, which may irritate some, but Sonny will understand why she did this. Could there be some chemistry between the two in all of this? That might be the case if Lois has no one else to turn to but Sonny. After all, Brooke Lynn will be furious over her mother's decision to adopt her kid to a member of the family, along with Dante Falconeri and perhaps even Gio himself, in addition to Ned and Olivia. Even after the deaths of both of his adoptive parents, Gio grew up close to his biological mother but never met her. Lois will have to leave the Quartermaine mansion immediately, and Sonny's house might be her only option. According to General Hospital teasers, Sonny might provide Lois with the support and listening ear she needs following Joe's parentage disclosure. Could the two develop a romantic interest? After Joe's revelation, Sonny supports Lois. Is he her last friend in Port Charles? Relationships have been strained and alliances put to the test as a result of the shocking disclosure of Joe's secret. One connection endures throughout the turmoil: Sonny Corinthos' steadfast support for Lois Cerullo. In a place where allegiances are subject to change, their relationship becomes a rare constant as the dust settles. However, with so many secrets and betrayals coming to light, is Sonny really Lois's last friend in Port Charles? Lois is still in shock over Joe's shocking revelation, having been caught off guard by the reality and finding it difficult to cope with the consequences. She is deeply troubled by the deceit and begins to wonder who she can trust in a community where everyone is out to get her. Once dependable friends have turned away from her, either out of judgment or self-preservation. Sonny, however, has been by her side the entire time, providing her with practical support in addition to consoling words. His presence has served as a calming factor and a reminder that true loyalty endures despite the ruthless atmosphere of Port Charles. Because of years of shared experience and struggles, they have always had a friendship based on respect and understanding. Sonny understands the hurt of having someone close to you deceive you, since he has experienced betrayal before. He is aware of what it's like to have individuals he relied on abandon him when times become difficult. His choice to support Lois is therefore motivated by solidarity rather than merely duty. Even if it puts him at odds with people in their circle, he won't let her face the storm alone. But the question remains: is Sonny the only person Lois can still rely on as the fallout from Joe's revelation continues? In Port Charles, friendships are frequently transactional and alliances are brittle. Unwilling to jeopardize their own reputations by hanging around with Lois, many of her previous confidants have either taken sides or withdrawn into the background. Now, even those who previously said they had her back appear doubtful, their allegiance faltering under duress. In this alienating environment, Sonny's determination is all the more important. However, there are issues with their relationship. It's unclear how far Sonny will go to keep Lois safe given his own troubled past with trust and retaliation. Will he continue to provide only emotional support, or will he do more to protect her from harm? And may supporting Lois put Sonny in the crosshairs as well? Given the new adversaries that have emerged as a result of Joe's revelation, Sonny's devotion is Lois' lifeline, but it also makes her question if she is really alone in Port Charles. Are her other connections irreversibly harmed by the aftermath from Joe's acts, or will friends finally come forward? Even if Sonny's presence gives her strength, the uncertainty still weighs hard on her. The dynamics at Port Charles keep changing as the days go by. Depending on who is presenting the story, rumors and whispers circulate, portraying Lois in various ways. Sonny stays consistent throughout it all, his devotion unflinching. However, the true test of their friendship might still be ahead in a community where nothing is ever truly concealed. Will Sonny's backing be all that separates Lois from total isolation, or will others come together to support her? What does that mean for them both going forward if he is, in fact, her final buddy in Port Charles? There is no doubt that their relationship is being tested to the limit in a society where trust is scarce. The most recent General Hospital spoilers for Monday, May 19th through Friday, May 23rd, are available on soaps.com. Special performances, nasty surprises, and explosive secrets will all be part of this year's Nurses' Ball. At the conclusion of the yearly event, lives will be permanently altered. To learn more, continue reading. Week of May 19th spoilers for General Hospital. Spoilers for Monday, May 19th on General Hospital. Lulu discovers evidence in today's recap that Joe's mother, Camilla, was never his mother. Lulu answers a call. Who or what is going to irritate Nina so much that she loses her temper? Carly confides in her daughter, Joss. What will be revealed by Cody and Lulu's most recent discovery? Sasha has cause for concern, considering the secret she has been keeping about her child. However, what is causing her to go into a complete panic? Drew and Curtis, who were once friends, finally clash. Discover who will co-host the red carpet event and the mystery guest for this year's Nurses' Ball. Spoilers for Tuesday, May 20th on General Hospital. Gets Michael taking a plane home after Tracy gets arrested at the Nurses' Ball in today's recap? Unidentified man. As the most anticipated social event of the Port Charles year begins, it's time for the locals to get all decked out and walk the red carpet. The Nurses' Ball wouldn't have begun if Lucy wasn't juggling a problem. What effect will Anna's plan have on the events during the celebration? The secrets of Carly and Nina's fight club are out. Someone approaches Portia with an offer. But should she turn it down? It should come as no surprise that Alexis is about to receive one of the less pleasant surprises. View breathtaking before and after pictures of Beverly Hills 90,210's original cast members 25 years after the show's last episode aired. Spoilers for Wednesday, May 21st on General Hospital. In today's recap, Christina finds out that her mother has been hiding her crime, and Lulu informs Lois that she is aware that Gio is the son of Brooklyn and Dante. Irate Lulu G. Prepare to discover who will be singing what when the 2025 Nurses' Ball performances begin. Check out these fantastic pictures in the interim, where the residents are all decked out and have somewhere to go. When it comes to Willow, Jocelyn goes into full-blown Carly mode and uses some really offensive language. Lulu is closely monitoring everything that Lois does. On an even more significant day, Rena Sofer previews a big move. Do you recall the scheme we said Anna had devised? Since she is putting it into action today, we shall soon know if it was successful or not. The feud between General Hospital and Young and Restless erupts, and you won't want to miss it. Thursday, May 22nd spoilers for General Hospital. Gio stops the Nurses' Ball and reveals Brooklyn and Dante to be his parents in today's recap. Gio ends the performance. Without a little drama, it wouldn't be a Nurses' Ball. And secrets blow up everywhere these days. Drew is feeling confident and riding high. Ned and Olivia offer a warning while maintaining a united face. Curtis decides what his next course of action should be. When Carly and Vaughn cross paths, two aspects of Jocelyn's universe are about to collide. Chad Duell is replaced by a young and restless veteran in Michael's recast. Friday, May 23rd spoilers for General Hospital. The 2025 Nurses' Ball's last acts are about to begin, and lives will have been irrevocably altered by the time the last curtain comes down, and most likely not for the best. Jason receives an enigmatic call. Who is on the other end? Although Trina feels anxious, Mac is able to breathe more easily. Who makes a compelling proposition to Carly? Steve Burton's new bride talks candidly about their relationship a week after their wedding. Joe's past had always piqued Lulu's interest. No one in the family ever talked about the mystery of his beginnings, which had an elusive quality. Gio himself didn't talk about his early years very often, and when he did, his descriptions were hazy and had inconsistencies. Lulu couldn't help but notice the sense of mystery that surrounded his mother, Camilla, despite her elegance and composure. Her curiosity eventually turned to distrust. Little things like Camilla's hesitation to post pictures of the baby, and her tendency to shift the topic whenever Joe's birth was brought up caused Lulu to start to have her doubts. She started to question whether Joe's narrative had more to it than everyone was prepared to acknowledge. Lulu discovered a stack of medical records, hidden in a dusty corner of the attic one afternoon, while assisting Camilla in organizing some old boxes. She initially dismissed it as simply another pile of misplaced documents. However, her breath froze in her throat as she turned the pages. The records contained Camilla's decades-long medical history. A number of fertility reports that were all from around the time Gio might have been conceived were among them. The documents were unambiguous. There was no reference to a pregnancy, and Camilla had battled infertility for years. As Lulu skimmed the pages, her mind racing, her hands shaking. How had Gio entered the family if Camilla had never been pregnant? Gio existed as living evidence that something wasn't right, even though the dates didn't match and the medical data was indisputable. With her heart racing from the weight of her discovery, she took careful pictures of the documents. This was a falsehood that had been suppressed for decades, not merely a family secret. She had to face someone, but who would it be? Gio deserved to know the truth, and Camilla would never confess to anything. But how could she reveal such a shocking detail without supporting evidence beyond a few old documents? Lulu made the decision to learn more. She spent days doing research, comparing dates, and even contacting former family members in the pretense of having a friendly conversation. Pieces of the puzzle started to fit together gradually. Around the time of Joe's purported birth, Camilla had been abroad for about a year, according to Mrs. Rossi, an old neighbor. With a knowing smile, Mrs. Rossi remarked, "She returned with a baby. After everything she had been through, we all believed it to be a miracle." Lulu's heartbeat accelerated. Is it a miracle or something else? In order to find any legal documents that would provide an explanation for Joe's entry into the family, she looked through adoption records. However, nothing was present. No court papers, no documentation, and no indication of a formal adoption. The truth seemed to elude her more and more the more she looked. Where had Gio come from if he wasn't Camilla's biological son, and there was no adoption record? The ramifications were astounding. Was he taken by Camilla? Was there an illicit arrangement of some sort? Lulu's mind was racing with ideas, each one more disturbing than the one before it. She was terrified at the idea of upending Joe's perception of himself, but she knew she had to tell him. What would he do? Is he going to believe her? She eventually plucked up the nerve to approach him one evening. She presented the evidence, including the missing adoption documents, the medical records, and the chronology inconsistencies. Joe's gaze was unreadable as he listened in quiet. He exhaled deeply and combed through his hair after she was done. Quietly, he said, "I always felt like something was off. But I never thought this would happen." The family was shocked by the revelation. When confronted, Camilla started crying. She acknowledged that the truth was more nuanced than anyone had anticipated. Gio wasn't adopted, but he wasn't her biological son either. A friend who had been unable to care for him, and had pleaded with Camilla to raise him as her own, had asked her to take him in as a favor. Two women had come to a desperate arrangement without any official procedure. The news was both terrible and freeing for Gio. He finally understood why he had always felt alienated in his own family. However, he also understood that, despite the secretive nature of his entrance, Camilla had loved him as her own. In addition to exposing a decades-old falsehood, Lulu's discovery unexpectedly strengthened the bonds within the family. For the first time, Gio could start to comprehend his own story because the truth, however painful, had finally surfaced. According to General Hospital spoilers, Michael Corinthos is returning to the city on Friday, May 23rd, and it appears that his arrival will be explosive in a lot of ways. After all, fans caught a glimpse of his estranged wife, Willow Tate Corinthos, playing kissy face with his uncle Drew Kane, on a private plane while watching a live feed of the 2025 Nurses Ball. Having said that, actor Rory Gibson has been recast in the role. Thus Michael will be wearing a new face himself. Does this imply that Willow and Michael might experience a rekindled romance? Willow and the character played by Chad Duell as Michael had a lot of chemistry, but as his departure drew to a close, their relationship soured. However, nothing is more satisfying to Willow than to be rescued by her current partner, and if everything works out, Michael's homecoming will not only be unexpected, but it may also mark the beginning of a new chapter in the Willow romance. After all, Drew might not remain Willow's hero for long. Although he enjoyed accusing Tracy Quartermaine of being responsible for his ketamine drugging, this will come back to haunt him. Fans are aware that Drew's covert romance with Nina Reeves is known to Tracy and Ned Quartermaine, who have been patiently waiting for the right opportunity to reveal it. Tracy won't accept Drew's frame job, so it looks like the moment might be right now. In addition, Michael will be able to attest that he was not told that Willow wished to see him, and that he was unaware of her visit to the German burn facility when he arrives. In addition to working behind the scenes to resolve the misunderstanding, Michael and Jason Morgan may have revealed that Drew had paid off the facilitator at the Baden-Baden treatment facility. Willow's world is going to be upended. In the end, she will not only lose Drew in all of this, but Willow won't have her mother to turn to if Nina's antics with the cunning congressman come to light. Michael has had time to reflect after going through a lot in the past few months. Will he desire more than ever to restore his family with Willow as a result of his new outlook on life? Recasts are often a chance to give a character a new beginning, so it's possible that Michael and Willow will be reunited soon. Given that his unidentified baby mother, Sasha Corbin, is in the wings, ready to give birth any moment now, General Hospital spoilers suggest that this would not only be an intriguing perspective but also potentially messy. Those who have crossed the character might want to hide when the May 23rd episode of General Hospital shows more than just the new Michael Corinthos hand. We learned that Rory Gibson, a former cast member of Young and Restless, has replaced Chad Duell in the role. The actor tells TV Insider, he has a thirst for vengeance and justice because it's no secret what Drew put him through. After everything he's been through, Michael really wants to live a quiet and peaceful life, he continues. But I don't necessarily see that happening for him. We don't either. Hell, for whatever reason, the son of Sonny and Carly might set half of Port Charles on fire. After his wife Willow cheated on him, he cheated on her with Sasha, and naturally Mom Carly went and made things even more chaotic. In addition, there is the question of who was responsible for the initial bombing of Sonny's apartment, which pushed Michael abroad. Whodunits are nothing new to Gibson. When he shared a picture from his dressing room on social media, General Hospital viewers assumed he was the new Michael, which may have made him the guilty party. I thought, how are all these people aware? For a split second I thought, oh my God, I hope I'm not in trouble. Well, with Joe's tantrum at the close of Thursday's episode, General Hospital definitely lived up to their promise of an exciting nurses' ball. He walked on stage, broke down in the middle of his performance, and blurted out the entire story to Port Charles after hearing the truth about Brooke Lynn and Dante being his parents during Lulu's argument with Lois. Worse, he believes that after damaging his violin, he fled because his parents purposefully kept him in the dark. Dante was completely perplexed, and Brooke Lynn was appalled. Having said that, they will undoubtedly grow close to their new son in the end. Indeed, Dante will undoubtedly be upset with her for concealing both her pregnancy and the birth of their kid. However, Brooke Lynn was just unaware of Joe's current situation. In order to concentrate on Gio, which is the most essential thing, that rage must eventually be set aside. Gio is in pain, and Dante takes parenting very seriously. He will try to take charge of the situation and persuade his son that they must deal with this shock and loss together. In fact, that had better happen quickly. Before Gio hurts himself or unintentionally hurts others, someone has to take him down. His belief that his biological parents didn't want him and have been lying to him all of his life is a major source of his suffering. Dante is obviously puzzled right now, but when will he be able to comprehend things? He will be even more enraged with Lulu than he is with Brooke Lynn. We have a suspicion. We don't see Lulu recovering well from this, regardless of her motivation. Although we earlier expressed our distaste for the entire Lulu/Dante reunion, We are now finding it difficult to see any hope for them. Whatever her motivations, the way she handled this, from her secrets to her snooping to her demands on Lois, which led to Gio hearing the truth and misinterpreting it, was just awful. His entire world had fallen apart, and he was unaware that he had been adopted until that point. With her unwavering focus on revealing this reality, Lulu's strategy seems to have done as much harm as possible. The adage "don't shoot the messenger" is well known, but Lulu might have hurt herself with her poorly handled disclosure. Lulu is aware of her error. She saw Joe's collapse and was devastated, but she won't be saved by that. We get the impression that Lulu will be left out in the cold as Dante, Brooklyn, and Gio ultimately figure out a way to move forward, even if it means not being a family. She most likely pushed Dante out of her arms, even though she might not have shoved him into Brooklyn's. Well, with Joe's tantrum at the close of Thursday's episode, General Hospital definitely lived up to their promise of an exciting nurses' ball. He walked on stage, broke down in the middle of his performance, and blurted out the entire story to Port Charles after hearing the truth about Brooklyn and Dante being his parents during Lulu's argument with Lois. Worse, he believes that after damaging his violin, he fled because his parents purposefully kept him in the dark. Dante was completely perplexed, and Brooklyn was appalled. Having said that, they will undoubtedly grow close to their new son in the end. Indeed, Dante will undoubtedly be upset with her for concealing both her pregnancy and the birth of their kid. However, Brooklyn was just unaware of Joe's current situation. In order to concentrate on Gio, which is the most essential thing, that rage must eventually be set aside. Gio is in pain, and Dante takes parenting very seriously. He will try to take charge of the situation and persuade his son that they must deal with this shock and loss together. In fact, that had better happen quickly. Before Gio hurts himself or unintentionally hurts others, someone has to take him down. His belief that his biological parents didn't want him and have been lying to him all of his life is a major source of his suffering. Dante is obviously puzzled right now, but when will he be able to comprehend things? He will be even more enraged with Lulu than he is with Brooklyn. We have a suspicion. We don't see Lulu recovering well from this, regardless of her motivation. Although we earlier expressed our distaste for the entire Lulu/Dante reunion, we are now finding it difficult to see any hope for them. Whatever her motivations, the way she handled this, from her secrets to her snooping to her demands on Lois, which led to Gio hearing the truth and misinterpreting it, was just awful. His entire world had fallen apart, and he was unaware that he had been adopted until that point. With her unwavering focus on revealing this reality, Lulu's strategy seems to have done as much harm as possible. The adage "don't shoot the messenger" is well known, but Lulu might have hurt herself with her poorly handled disclosure. Lulu is aware of her error. She saw Joe's collapse and was devastated, but she won't be saved by that. We get the impression that Lulu will be left out in the cold as Dante, Brooklyn, and Gio ultimately figure out a way to move forward, even if it means not being a family. She most likely pushed Dante out of her arms, even though she might not have shoved him into Brooklyn's. Will Willow and Michael's rekindled spark resurfaces in time to save her from Drew? Drama, passion, and unexpected turns have long been a part of Port Charles's complex relationship dynamics. Willow Tate and Michael Corinthos have been one of the most captivating couples in recent years. Their love story has endured many hardships, including personal betrayals, family conflicts, and life-threatening illnesses. But despite everything, their relationship has endured as a ray of hope, proving that love can endure hardship. Their path has never been simple though, and just when it appeared that they had settled down, new difficulties surfaced that threatened to split them apart again. Michael's prompt return could be the lifeline Willow needs as she finds herself at a crossroads, torn between the security of the past and the uncertainty of the future. Especially when Drew Kane's increasing influence in her life makes her wonder where her true heart is. Due to the strain of their obligations and unresolved conflicts, Willow and Michael have been drifting apart emotionally for months. Ever the loving father and son, Michael had been so preoccupied with the needs of the Corinthos empire that he had little time for the affection that had once characterized their bond. Willow, on the other hand, had poured herself into her career and kids, putting on a brave front to hide her loneliness. Unspoken frustrations and the constant strains of their environment had strained their love, despite its depth. When Willow was at her most vulnerable, Drew King came into her life to provide a listening ear and a reassuring presence. There was no denying Drew's generosity, and his personal hardships made him a sympathetic confidant. He and Willow's relationship grew stronger as they spent more time together, causing their friends and family to start talking. Or was Drew evolving into something more than just a friend? Willow was forced to choose between her loyalty to Michael and the irresistible allure of a new relationship as the lines became hazy. Free from the complexities of the Corinthos heritage, Drew offered a new beginning and the opportunity to reinvent herself beyond the confines of the past. But remorse, a persistent feeling that she was betraying the love she and Michael had battled so hard to preserve, accompanied that possibility. Willow was starting to doubt everything when Michael came back, not with ostentatious displays or hollow vows, but with a silent resolve to defend what they had lost. He had gained clarity from his absence, which made him face the errors that had caused them to separate ways. He discovered too late that he had overlooked the woman who meant the world to him in his efforts to preserve his family's heritage. Now that he was in danger of losing Willow to Drew, Michael had to examine his own failings and demonstrate that he was the kind of partner she deserved. Their reunion was anything but easy. Once trust was shattered, it was difficult to mend, and old wounds reappeared. Willow's affections for Drew complicated what should have been a simple reconciliation with Michael, leaving her with conflicted emotions. But beneath the turmoil, the unmistakable and enduring spark between her and Michael continued to flicker. Willow started to recall why she had initially fallen in love with him in the little things. The way his touch still made her shiver, the familiarity of his laughter, the unspoken connection that had always been between them. As observant as ever, Drew noticed the change. Even though he had sincere feelings for Willow, he didn't want to be the one to break a bond that had lasted so long. He took a step back in a selfless moment, allowing Willow to make her decision without any pressure. His selflessness not only increased her admiration for him, but also made it clearer what she really desired. She had regained hope after Michael's return, believing that their love could still flourish if they were both prepared to put up a battle for it. Willow understood that love was about repeatedly selecting each other, even when the route was unclear, and that it was not simply about comfort or passion, as she stood on the brink of a life-changing decision. Their issues had not been resolved by Michael's return, but it had provided them with an opportunity to start over and establish a stronger foundation than they had previously had. What about Drew? He continued to be a beloved friend and a reminder that love sometimes requires letting go. Willow's heart ultimately found Michael again. Not out of duty but because in spite of everything, he was still the one who made her feel at home. For the first time in a long time they faced the future together, bound by a love that had been tried and tempered by time. But their journey was far from done, and there would surely be more obstacles to overcome. What about Drew? In Willow's life he had played a crucial part as a growth and self-discovery catalyst. Even if their paths separated, their link would always have an influence and serve as a bittersweet reminder of what could have been, and what was ultimately meant to be. A tapestry weaved with happiness, suffering, and redemption, Willow and Michael's story is anything but straightforward. But one thing endures despite all of the hardships. Love can triumph over the most formidable challenges if it is fostered with integrity and bravery. And with the hard-won knowledge that certain relationships are just unbreakable, no matter how ferociously the storms may rage, they embark on the next chapter of their life.